Hi there. It's time again for another I Eat, I Read, I Watch. Don't just eat alone, dine solo. You're worth it. Today I am eating curried chicken and vegetables on rice. I roasted a chicken this week, so I'm working my way through the meat one variation at a time. This time I felt like a curry. No curry is complete without rice, so I started by putting 1 cup mixed rice with 1 cup chicken stock and 1 cup water in a pot, turned it on high and covered it. Once it was boiling, I reduced it to low and put the timer on for 15 minutes. Then I started Googling recipes to find something that would work with my pantry items. I wanted to do a Thai curry, but found myself short a number of ingredients, so went back to the Indian spices. I'm pretty casual about whether I have absolutely everything, but generally I'm looking for guidance on the spice proportions. When I found something moderately close to what I have on hand, I get going. First, I started a chopped onion sautéing in a little of the fat that came out of the chicken roasting pan. While it softened, I cut up a yellow carrot, a small zucchini, and a few button mushrooms. I added a good dollop of ginger garlic paste to the pan, and then some spices as recommended in the recipe. 1 teaspoon coriander, 1 teaspoon paprika, half a teaspoon cumin, half a teaspoon cinnamon, and several good grinds of salt and pepper. I wish I'd listened to my instincts about the cinnamon. Too much, as I soon realized. While you can't take something away, you can mask it, so I added a bit more cumin. Once the spices started to stick to the pan, I deglazed it with about half a cup of chicken stock. Then I threw in all the veg, a handful of cherry tomatoes, a squirt of tomato paste, and a 1/4 cup of coconut milk, still frozen, a leftover from a previous recipe not requiring a full can. I stuck a lid on it. Once it came to a boil, I turned it down and let it simmer for 10 minutes or so, stirring it from time to make sure it wasn't boiling too much or running out of liquid. While it was cooking, I got the chicken parts from the fridge and carved up half a breast and the meat off a leg. I added the chicken pieces along with a 1/4 cup of green peas and let it cook for another 10 minutes or so. I served the curry on the rice with a chopped scallion alongside a glass of water. And then I sat down to eat, listening to the CBC News and writing this column. And the next night, I stuffed 2 peppers with the rice and the mixture, providing 2 more meals. And then the night after that, I turned all the remaining chicken curry into a soup by adding the stock I derived from cooking down the chicken carcass. Prep time for today's meal, 30 minutes well spent. Origin, well, Canadian chicken, onion, tomatoes, mushrooms, carrot, zucchini, green peas, and scallion. The rest imported with a strong preference of no U.S. product. Cost? Probably about $10 for 4 meals. How have you used chicken breast creatively? In the comments on my blog, please. So what am I reading? Well, I'm reading a book called, wait for it, Harley Loco, a memoir of hard living and post-punk, hair and post-punk from the Middle East to the Lower East Side. I hadn't heard of Raya Elias until I attended Elizabeth Gilbert's show in Toronto last fall. You know, the Eat, Pray, Love woman who's turned her fame into a shtick she exploits on Substack with her love letters concept. Check it out if you like. It annoys me. And through her stage show, which also irritated me, but introduced me to Elias. Raya Elias was the hairdresser whom Gilbert first befriended, then encouraged her to write her own memoir, and ultimately accompanied her as her lover to the terminal end of Elias's cancer treatment. Through the darkest time of the cancer, Elias pulled Gilbert into the drug addiction she'd given up decades earlier. It's that drug dependency that Elias documented in this memoir, Harley Loco. And that's the nickname she was given during her brief stay in Rikers. While I gave up on Gilbert's 2025 book, All the Way to the River, as annoying tripe, it prompted me to order Harley Loco from the library. Elias provides a gripping and accessible look at a life that was happening in parallel to my own time-wise. Although hers began in Syria in the early 1960s, The family then immigrated to Detroit, where she grew up, finding her niche in the new wave scene. In her 20s, she moved to New York City, where her focus on hairdressing, a budding music career, and her complicated coming out soon gave way to cocaine, crack, and ultimately intravenous heroin use. The book ends in the late 1990s with Elias as a recovering addict. Of course, we know from Gilbert, Elias' life ended in 2018, but not without returning to the drugs that had such a hold over her. A sad story, but an interesting one. If you've read an addiction memoir, I'm interested in hearing about it. Go to my website and add it to the comments. Finally, I'm watching the post-Jimmy Perez series of Shetland. You already know I've been watching Shetland, the British police series set on the Shetland Islands in the North Sea off Scotland. The first 7 seasons feature Douglas Henschel as Jimmy Perez, our widower protagonist, finding his life purpose by putting away a remarkable number of murders given the very small Shetland population of 24,000. When Perez finally has his fill of solving crime and disappears from the scene, a new detective inspector, Ruth Calder, steps in. Calder is a Shetlander who has lived for decades in London. Her return is prompted by a key witness fleeing north from London, but she soon becomes enmeshed in the kind of intrigue that gripped Perez for so long. She's got her own history in Lerwick, the town where the police station is based. I've only just finished the 8th season, so I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot more about Ruth Calder. I have, however, been trying to solve my own mystery without aid of Google. Where the hell have I seen this actress before? Finally, I gave up, and of course, Ashley Jensen, a.k.a. Ruth Calder, played the nurse and love interest for the Ricky Gervais character in Afterlife, the widower series that gutted me in the wake of Jack's death. Jensen was also in Gervais' earlier show, Extras, a series I dipped my toe into a few weeks ago and will continue one day, I'm sure. Having a series survive the departure of the lead character is nearly unheard of. Jensen seems to be pulling it off, though. Can recommend. If you've been troubled by where you've seen an actor before, please be sure to add it to the comments of my blog. And thanks for watching.